Hey there, restaurant pros. David Scott Peters here, creator of the Restaurant Prosperity Formula and your coach. Oh man, I'll tell you what, I got lucky. Cox Communication was taking my internet down this morning, so I thought I'd take this opportunity to come out the lake and go for a row. Well, water's flat, wind is starting to come up, things change. So quickly on the lake, things change. It's kind of like running your restaurant. Just went through a year and a half of COVID business restrictions, kicking your ass. You're leaning down your staff, reducing management size, getting back in your business to do whatever it takes to make it work, working in your business instead of on your business. And for that, you're a restaurant pro. Because think about it, 40% of our industry closed. You're still operating. Now you're coming into some second round of PPP money. So you still maybe have some EIDL money you'd use. You've got the restaurant relief fund. You've got the tax credit. You've got so much opportunity for funds coming in. And now mass restrictions have been lifted nationally. Depending on where you are, what state, your dining rooms are opening up 100%, 75%, at least by the end of June at the latest. Things are changing. People are getting shots in arms. Heck, I'm one of them. Which means we're going back out to restaurants to eat on a routine basis. You're getting slaughtered. I have members reporting record sales, not pandemic record sales, like record sales, and they have no staff. We came out of COVID. We're still in COVID, but technically we're on our way out, and we're worse off than we were before because we've got all this business and we've got no employees. I've got members who are shutting down 1-2 days a week just to make it that their issues are not their employees' issues. I've got members who are not opening up their dining rooms and they're just staying out on the patio. I've got members who are doing anything and everything they can to reduce their menus, to make changes, to be able to operate with less people. But most of all, I've got members just like you who are working the floor in order to make a shift work as restaurant owners are back in their business working the floor. We can't maintain that for forever. But here's the deal. This will pass. Now, why are there people staying home and not working? Well, there's a number of reasons. Number one, the one that the internet loves to harp on, and now it's hitting the news, and all different news networks are publishing stories about restaurants that cannot open because they can't find employees. And the number one reason we think as restaurant owners is the government, the federal government, giving the extra $300 to somebody to stay unemployed. So we're rewarding people. And I've seen the memes where if you're a minimum wage employee, $15 an hour, heck, you're making like $40 less by staying home by collecting unemployment from the state and the federal extra. So yeah, I get it. There is a portion of our labor force that is not coming back to work because they're making the same amount of money to sit on their ass. And those are probably 18 to 20-year-old young people. But wait a second, man, you've got the single moms who, depending on the state you're in, maybe you have not opened up in-person schooling. What the hell is that single mom supposed to do? I grew up with a single mom. You know, fortunately for her, I was a teenager at the time. So, you know, there was a lot of times home alone while she was in the restaurant industry working her ass off 80 plus hours a week. The wrong way, the old way. But if you've got small kids, heck, you got 2-3 kids, you're just trying to monitor which laptops they're on and are they paying attention to class. That's new. Oh, you've got the people with health concerns. I'm a heart attack survivor. I will tell you this COVID thing, I believe it was real and it scared the shit out of me. So I chose to use third-party apps or pickup. I rarely ate in a restaurant until recently now that I'm vaccinated. So you got people who are afraid to go back to work. But here's what we haven't paid attention to. We haven't paid attention to in our industry that many of us have to realize employees work for us, line employees work for us for flexibility. They work for us because they can change their schedule on a moment's notice. Like, I don't want to work this week. I want to go to a concert. I want to go camping. I want to go water skiing. And they flip their schedules. Oh shit, I got to pay rent. They flip their schedules and they pick up extra shifts. The number one reason they work in the industry is for flexibility. Well, a lot of restaurants, I read an article, Wall Street Journal, I found it on LinkedIn, talking about how a lot of our industry is left us because we've treated them like shit. Customers have treated them like shit, and they just don't want to be it anymore. So think about it. When you lean down your staff, you had a bunch of people saying, I'm getting out of the restaurant business, I'm finding a job in another industry. And they're not coming back. Then we've got the employees, for the first time I've ever seen, servers working 40, 50, 60 hours a week with no time off, because why? We're so short-staffed, we're working the hell out of our people, and they're getting burned out. And then our customers are no longer being nice. Like, oh, it's COVID, I get it, you're understaffed. Now they're berating your team. Whether it's the mask mandate, whether it's the customer service or the slow ticket times, because you don't have enough employees. And it's tough. So what do? Well, Mark, in one of my Facebook groups, reached out and said, what do? I got restaurants around me paying $1,000 signing bonuses, $17 an hour. How do I compete? What do I do? I feel your pain, Mark. In my Restaurant Transformation Intensive group, on a weekly basis, we meet. And I've seen all this. It's come in. Just 2 weeks ago, we had a conversation exactly about this. And I showed him a picture of when I went to Dairy Queen. And they were offering $1.25 more an hour than minimum wage here in Arizona. And I shared that picture and I said, you know what, that picture is going to be up a month from now. Paying more for the labor you have is not going to change the labor crisis we live in right now. All it's going to do is raise your wage. Now, I have other members where we've talked about it. It said, Steve said, if I could pay $50,000 starting salary or wage for my line cooks, I'd have a line out the door. And so we said, okay, let's play with this idea. Now, this is somebody who has recipe cost cards, menu mix, all their numbers dialed in, takes inventory on a weekly basis, checklists in place, managers, has all the things, does things right, wants to have a company culture in his business where the employees matter. And we did an analysis of his menu and said, if we were to raise his prices, we couldn't overcome giving raises across the board. We could not come up with enough savings to pay for what it meant to pay people more to bring them in. And then I've got another member who said, in my marketplace, I've got I believe it was a casino in New Mexico near his restaurant that is paying $25 an hour for starting line cooks. What the hell am I supposed to do? So here's my answer for you. Number one, if every restaurant in your marketplace, they're starting to raise their wages, like everyone, your market is reacting, you probably need to look at raising your wages. But it means you need recipe cost cards, menu mix. We need to re-engineer your menu and find 3 to 7 points to make up for that labor difference. So you got to have systems in place. Otherwise, you're shooting from the hip, and odds are you're not going to overcome that raise. So here's the short of it, and it's a long answer. You can't compete on just dollars alone. What I'm going to tell you is not a short fix. Because as I told my member who has a $25 an hour line cooks in his area, they only have so many line cooks at $25 an hour, and then it's capped. Like if they got 10 cooks, 12 cooks, 15 cooks, out of the thousands, millions of people in your marketplace, 15 cooks, it's done. They're not going to bring on more cooks at $25 an hour, it's done. So by knee-jerk reaction, if you want to react to that $17 mark, if you want to react to the $25, then you're putting yourself in a position that you cannot take those raises back. You have now made it that it's so costly for you to have labor in your business that we're going to have to completely revamp your menu, maybe even change your concept, possibly even close your doors, because that knee-jerk reaction, because we're so tired that we want to have people in here that could cost you your business. So the answer is we have to change our company culture. We've got to become an employer of choice. We've got to have good supervision. That's right. Herzberg's motivation hygiene theory. Look it up on the internet. There are 5 things that if we do this, we motivate people. And some of those are fair pay, fair wages, opportunity for advancement, good supervision, safety. I cannot remember the 5th one, so I apologize. But good supervision, good pay. Now, what what Herzberg says is, having more of that doesn't motivate people more. So if I've got a good, positive work environment, and I pay fairly, and I've got good supervision, I don't have to worry. If you got a bad culture, you've got managers yelling at people, people don't know what they're doing, there's not supervision, we've got no managers at all, we just have employees managing each other. Well, when those things are absent, Herzberg talks about that's when people are demotivated. So the short answer is long. You've got to change your company culture. You've got to put management in place. Now we start them as MITs, good supervision. There's a grown-up on every shift, ensuring the process is working. You've got to document and train your systems, your system, your process, your way. Most people leave the restaurant industry within the first 90 days because they don't know what they're doing. They've got some jackass yelling at them and they're embarrassed and they don't want to ask for help. So by great training, great supervision, we change that. We want to get back to a place where when we're fully staffed that we have the flexibility, people can have the time off, do the things they want, stay an attractive business. But yeah, we want to pay them fairly. But don't try and compete on pay alone. Heck, there's a great book for customer service by John DeJulius called Secret Service. And if you read it, John talks about with wow customer service, you make price irrelevant. Stop competing on price. Well, it's no different. Stop competing on just wage. We can't compete. Think about it. You've been trying to compete with the chain restaurants for the last decade, 20 years. They've been paying more, managers more. They've been paying line employees more. But you still have people, because some people don't want to work in that corporate environment. They like the fact that you're the owner, that they get to know you, that everybody, it's family. See, I teach people how to put systems in place, to operate like the chains. Right? But we're still gonna love our employees. We're still gonna love our guests. We're still gonna put out great food. We're just gonna make money. So don't go against your core values. Don't do a knee-jerk reaction to react. Think about it. If you truly wanna say, I've gotta raise my wages, then we've gotta put together a budget. Remember, I tell people the two most important systems any restaurant should have are budgets and recipe costing cards. What are the two systems most restaurants never have? Because they're too hard. Well, now you're trying to make a decision. I'm making an assumption, Mark, and I'm talking to everybody. I'm just using your question. How are you going to change your bottom line? How are you going to make changes if you don't have a budget? How do you know what changes to make and what effect minimum wage you're going to raise your minimum wage is going to have on your business? Can you make a wholesale change to your menu to make up for it? I don't know the answer. But hey, if you'd like to learn how to cope with this, have a group of other restaurant owners help you through this crisis, do me a favor, email me at david@davidscottpeters.com. Say you want to get on a discovery call. We'll learn more about your business, your challenges. I'll tell you what I might be able to do to help you. I'm not right for everybody. And at the end of that call, maybe the Restaurant Transformation Intensive program's right for you. But as restaurant owners out there, lead your businesses. Become the leader your restaurant needs. Make decisions based off your numbers and your gut, not just your gut. Go out there and kick some ass.